Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to the Digitally Uploaded Podcast, the companion podcast of digitally-downloaded.net. We have returned from the abyss itself. We stared into it, and it stared back at us and told us we could finally record again. Isn't that wonderful? We're back. It's been a bit of a hiatus for a while, and my name's Alan. With me this week is Matthew. Hello, Matthew.
Sup?
It felt very weird to call you Matthew.
It does. Don't ever do that. That's definitely not what I call myself. So
I'm going to stop that one.
Off air, I'm going to have to wrap you over the knuckles there, Alan.
You do it. You won't, coward. We also have Trent on the train.
See, I don't have a name like, Trentview or Trent.
Trentview. Oh, that's really good. No, I like that. No, I'm going to use that one now.
I just have a normal name.
You just have a normal name, unlike Matt. Extremely abnormal name, clearly.
Yes.
And Trent and Harvard, hello.
Hello, I also have a normal name.
I've been rattled already, and I don't like that. I blame all of you. It's mostly Trent, though, to be fair. How dare you? Anyway, we're going to jump to some music really quickly, and then we'll be back to talk about some games of October, so let's get into it right away. And welcome back. So, it's October. It's the month of spooks. It's Spooktober, my dudes. Let's get
It's
around it.
Oktoberfest.
It is also Oktoberfest, but it's a spooky Oktoberfest where the beer is only cider.
It's green beer.
It's the most frightening of all things.
No one
Um,
likes cider, Alan.
Some people do, but they're just wrong.
You know,
Actually,
in terms of
just to bring it off track
beers,
for a second.
no, I want to rant on this a very bit. In terms of beers, cider is okay, but the weirdest beer you can ever have is a milk beer.
I mean,
And
I've had some pretty strange beers because Melbourne is built around having strange beers. And honestly, some of them are really, really good. I had a grapefruit IPA the other day, and it was delicious.
Oh, I like fruit beers. I like lychee. There's a lychee beer.
Oh,
that I really
lychee beer.
like.
Oh,
The
I've had that.
lychee
That's a
beer.
good one.
oh, what brand is that? It's like it starts with an M.
Matzo.
Matzo, yeah.
Matzo.
Yeah,
The mango
yeah.
one's good
Yeah.
too.
Mango is very good. There's also they do like a ginger beer as well. I'm pretty sure and it's freaking delicious. Anyway, Games of October.
Yes.
Matt, can you tell me what's coming out? Give
There's
me the
too
down
much.
low. Give me the
There's too-
steez.
There's too much, Alan, and just too much to play in October. It's nuts. It's a nuts month. Okay, so we'll start with the PlayStation 4 on October 1, which is by the time you hear this podcast has already been and gone. But on October 1, there is a girl who chants love at the bound of this world, which is a very influential visual novel from way back when, which is finally being localized into English for the first time. Completely not your thing, Alan, but it's good. It's really good.
I was going to
Yes,
say,
you can
everybody
say
else.
that.
It's called Uno. And I was like, why is Uno a visual novel now?
No. It's YUNO, as in if you know, you know.
Oh,
It's you know, not
I
Uno.
hate
It's not
that.
it's not a card game. Jesus, Alan. I said there's a visual novel, not a card game. Pay attention here.
I don't know how to listen to words. I'm a literate man.
Also on October 1, there is Baldur's Gate. Yay! Finally, the enhanced edition finally coming to console and stuff, which is good. And Baldur's Gate 2 as well as Planescape Torment and Icewind Dale. So if you like those old RPGs, you're going to have an awful lot to play right from the start of the month. October 8 brings us Concrete Genie, which is the last Sony game that's actually interesting to me, funnily enough. It comes out on October 8. Yeah, that should be good. That's Sony actually investing in something that's a little artistic rather than a stupid, hyper-violent shooty thing. Not mentioning names. On October
Is this
8th.
Matt being, what is he talking about?
On October 8th.
Guess in the comments, ladies and gentlemen.
On October 8th, the Alliance Alive HD Remastered, which is a HD remaster, funnily enough, of a 3DS game, which was very good. And it's coming out on PlayStation 4 and Switch. Also on October 8th, there's an awful lot coming out on October 8th, but also on October 8th, there's Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair, which should be good for people that enjoyed the last Yooka-Laylee. It wasn't me, but some people did, I think. On October 10, there is a visual novel coming out that I am really excited for because it is the sequel to Deathmark, which was my favorite it's one of my favorite visual novels of all time. This one is Spirit Hunter NG. That comes out on October 10.
Wait,
just
didn't
in
that
time for
only
Halloween.
just came out like Deathmark, like beginning of the year?
No, Deathmark was at least a year ago, maybe 2. I can't remember.
Wow.
Got a whole lot of awards with digitallydownloaded.net because it was
But
good.
it feels
very
like
good.
only yesterday.
That's how good it was.
Like sand in
It
the
stays in the memory because it was that good. Let's keep going. We've got on October 17, there's Felix the Reaper. I don't know what that is, but just the name of it catches my attention.
No, it's Felix
Because-
the cat on a murder spree.
That's exactly what I thought, and I'm all for that.
Yeah, he deserves it.
I'm all for that. On October 18, Plants vs. Zombies Battle for Neighborville. I don't know if is that an actual tower defense
Is that
one, or is
still
that
a
the
thing?
action?
I'm pretty sure that's the third-person shooter, maybe.
That's the third-person shooter action thingy. Okay,
I don't know.
That was all right. The other ones were all right. I didn't mind them. They were okay. They were EA.
They were EA.
They were EA. On October 22, Legends of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 launches. That's the big one for the month. That's going to be an amazing game. The first 2 were incredible. The third one should be just as good. Otherwise, I'd be very upset. On October 22, the other killer game for the month comes out, Farming Simulator 19 Platinum Edition. That's
Yeah, boy.
Everybody laughs about those games, then they play them and they get hooked on them and they never stop playing them.
Because it's really good.
Yeah, they are really good. Medieval comes out on October 25. That's a Sony thing.
Is anyone excited for that?
No.
What a strange game to remaster.
Yeah. On October 25. Also, The Outer Worlds. That should be good, right? Everybody's looking forward to that one.
The BioWare.
Really good.
No, not BioWare.
Excuse me.
Obsidian.
Sorry, I got them mixed up.
Yeah. It's best BioWare doesn't make games
exploration
anymore.
thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it's Fallout New Vegas 2.
I crossed my wires in my head with my Fallouts.
Yeah, that's all right. We'll forgive you.
I'm never forgiving you.
October 25 is Call of Duty. No, let's move on. October.
Hey, it could be good.
Oh, no, it's not. October 29 brings us 2 games. It brings us Disgaea 4 Complete, which is great for people who like Disgaea 4, which should be anybody that likes games. Good games. It was PS3? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No. Also,
5 was PS3, wasn't it?
5 is PS4 and Switch. 4 is Vita, I want to say. I think that's the one I played it on, the Vita. Or possibly PS3. Or possibly PS4. I can't remember. Anyway, it's coming out again. So, yeah. Also, on October 29 is Atelier Ryza, the third Atelier in a year. Gosh, they churned those out this year. That's, the last 2 were pretty good. So, hopefully this one's good. And also on October 29 is Super Monkey Ball Banana. Super Monkey Ball. Banana Blitz HD.
Barnaby Joyce Blitz.
I did play that at Tokyo Game Show, and it's Monkey Ball, which is exactly what you want.
The Wii one was the best Monkey Ball, so it's just natural that the port will be the best, still the best game.
It's fun. It's going to be fun. That's the main thing. And then finally, on October 29, Disney Classic Games Aladdin and Lion King comes out, which is cool.
How long will that be on sale for, though, before it's taken down?
Yeah, about a week.
Getting early kids.
Moving over to the Switch, for anything that we didn't mention already, there's quite a few of those games that's also coming out on Switch. So and Planescape and Baldur's Gate and
is also on the Switch if you want to play
Yes, it is. Obviously, the Sony ones are not. No, you will not be able to play Medieval or Concrete Genie on the Switch. But
no, what will we do about Medieval?
We'll have to complain about it.
I'm going to cry if I can't play Medieval on the Switch.
yeah. You have to set a rant up on Twitter and maybe
change.org petition.
What's up, gamers? We're here to talk about something that's really getting me down recently. Remember to smash that like button, guys.
Make its own hashtag, like put Medieval Switch or something. Put on Medieval.
You're quite good at that.
It's Medieval to not be on Switch.
You're quite good at that. I'm a bit scared now.
It's almost like I'm a gamer.
So, there is one game that's coming out early in the Switch, early in the month. It's already on PlayStation 4 as of like a year ago, but it's coming on Switch. It's called Battlestar Galactica Deadlock. That's a Aussie-developed kind of tactics strategy game thing, which was actually really, really good. It's really good, and I'm looking forward to having that portable. That comes out on October 8. Lots. It's just coming out on PS4. Doraemon Story of Seasons comes out on October 11. I can't wait for that. That's Doraemon is in the blue robot cat thing from Japanese anime and manga.
It's a robot?
It's a robot. I think
it's a cat.
Oh, it's a robot, isn't it?
I believe you entirely.
I always thought it was a robot.
I also didn't know it was a robot.
Cat. Is it also a robot? Like, is it like on Yokai Watch with the cat thing with the evil robot? Like, is it like that? What was it? Let's Google this.
I feel like we need to confirm this now.
To be fair, though, this follows the same trend of most like Japanese properties where it's X but robot, which is like Astro Boy.
Anyway, whether Doraemon is a robot or not,
he's actually a robot from the future.
Yeah.
What? Okay, no, I want to bring it back for a second, just really quickly. I love how like Western culture is like the robots from the future are here to kill us. Yeah, in Japan they're always here to save us and be like,
just be our friends. Oh, that's really nice.
So there you go. Doraemon is a robot confirmed. And Story of Seasons is a it's the Harvest Moon since Harvest Moon stopped being Harvest Moon, and yeah, it should be good fun. I like Story of Seasons. I like Draymond. Putting them together is a pretty good thing, a no-brainer really. October 15 brings us The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, which on Switch looks like about
Yes.
well, it looks
That'll be
like
fun.
Pass really. It looks terrible. But you know, it's The Witcher, so people are going to love it anyway. Doesn't matter how
Why do
crappy
you
it
hate
looks.
good things?
Have you actually seen it? It looks terrible.
You're playing it on a screen that's smaller than the Vita. Well, it's slightly larger than the Vita. Sorry, it doesn't
It's slightly
need.
larger than the Vita.
It doesn't
You're
need.
the Vita fans now.
Oh, all three of them. Yeah.
Well, Skyrim looked pretty good on Switch.
Yeah, but Witcher
Skyrim's
3
like a
still
15-year-old
has the
game.
hair effects as well, though. Like that's the thing that gets me is they managed to get Geralt's hair work on a what is essentially a zooped-up phone.
Well, yeah, I guess so. It's impressive that it's on there at all, but it's still a significant drop down on the versions that you've already been playing for plenty of
Well,
years.
yeah, like
so,
I mean, if you haven't played Witcher 3 and you only own a Switch, it's worth picking up because that game is unreal.
yeah, all one of you out there. So there you go. Enjoy
Plus-
the game that was custom designed for you. Also,
Not to
on
mention as well, if you have played like Witcher 3, you know that there's like a bunch of stuff in there that you can do. Like that game will not end if you don't want it to end. So yeah, get it. It's good.
it's
Plus,
like
it's portable now, so you know, even if you did play it, you know, you're now getting something on like a portable console. You know,
You can watch Geralt in a bath on a train.
Yeah,
I like
which
that.
is in very low resolution.
Which
Moving on.
is-
October 15 brings us Overwatch as well on the Switch, which is
Oh,
good
that
if
was
you're a
fast.
fan of
Who is
Diva.
that for? Who is that for?
Well, probably me.
No, it's not. Don't even. No, that game is bad.
Diva on the go. Diva in my pocket.
Hey, Alan, imagine how bad Overwatch is mixed with how good the Switch internet interface is going to be.
Oh, so like Sub-Zero quality. It's been worse than Smash Bros.
you know, I'm
Someone-
gonna pick up Overwatch on the Switch only because I haven't played it on anything else, and I want it on the Switch. Everything should be on the Switch.
I think you're gonna waste your money.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that good, especially because it's online only. You have to, have a good connection to enjoy it at all. So
Yeah, you
I
can
do have a
play
good
bot
connection.
mode, and bot mode is terrible.
Moving on.
It's bad. Don't buy that game, guys.
Moving on. Moving on.
This is my genuine response. Yes.
October 22 brings us Mary Skelter 2, which is an exclusive to the Switch, at least at this stage. I might be on PC as well, I'm not sure. But it's a dungeon crawler, which is from Compile Heart, which is... The first one was actually really good on the Vita. So, yeah, looking forward to that. If you didn't play the original on the Vita, which, for a lot of people who didn't have Vitas, you didn't. Mary Skelter 2 actually includes the original as well, so you can catch yourself up. Speaking of niche RPGs, October 22 also brings us Destiny Connect TikTok Travelers from Nipponichi, which is... It looks like a kind of Alice in Wonderland cross with Robot Things RPG. It looks really nice.
No, it's
so it
definitely
sounded like
not.
the most
Robots are
made-up
actually
name
cats.
ever.
No, it sounds like a name that I'd make up to make fun of games with weird names.
Exactly. Just like put together some syllables and be like, oh yeah, Destiny, Octopus, Bang Bang
Destiny
Dream.
Octopus. Bang Bang Dream.
Ignore those people.
Oh,
Go
I
and
love that one.
go and Google search Destiny
No, there's like
Connect
4
TikTok
columns in there as
Travelers,
well.
and you will see that it's actually a very, very good looking game. And Alan and Harvard need to shut
No,
up.
blame
Basically,
Harvard on this one. This is Harvard's fault. I did nothing
Um,
wrong. I got excited by Bang Bang Travelers.
October.
Is the sequel called Gang Bang Travelers?
Oh no! Oh, that joke is bad. No.
Okay, we've ruined it. Next.
Moving
next
on.
game.
October 22, just in time for Halloween, brings us Raging Loop, which is a horror-themed visual novel about werewolves and stuff in kind of a classical Japan setting. It's got a really good reputation in Japan. It's never been localized before, but yeah, P-Cube's bringing that one out just in time for Halloween. So that's good. October 24 also brings Cat Quest 2, which is already on Apple Arcade and PC, but for people who prefer to play it on Switch, Cat Quest was pretty good. It was charming. It was happy. It was nice. It comes out on Switch then. Other than that, I don't think there's much else that's unique to Switch.
What about Xbox 360 games, Matt?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of crappy Resident Evils that come out at the end too. Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6.
Okay, 5 is good. Heck you.
No, it wasn't. It was terrible.
It is. It's
It was
fun.
absolutely terrible.
Which one was the one with the giraffe?
The
6.
giraffe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was 6. Yeah, the
the
zombie
giraffe.
giraffe.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was
logo.
those
To be fair,
two.
Seems
Resident
believable.
Evil's been doing that for a while though, where they've just had it's a zombie animal. Like Outbreak had a zombie elephant that you had to fight. It was pretty good.
I remember the zombie whale in Revelations. That was pretty funny.
The whale of a time.
And that's it. That's pretty much all the games that are coming out in October.
And
That's a
that's
lot.
the end of the podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
That's an awful lot to play. As you can probably tell, you'll be busy in October. If September wasn't busy enough, you'll be out into the backlog in October. So there you go.
Matt's struggling to speak. This is.
I am. am.
He's been cursed by the broken conversation.
I had to read too many words. I'm tired now.
Oh. All right, well, we're going to give you some time to have a bit of a snooze then, Matt. give you a snooze time.
A nice morning Kepper. Kepper? Is that a word?
Cuppa.
Kappa. Yes, let's do that.
We'll have some music from
Bang,
I don't know, Baldur's Gate.
Bang, bang, troopers.
And welcome back, everybody. So, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, now by the time you hear this podcast, the Apple Arcade launched, and it put a lot of enthusiasm back into mobile gaming, which was a good thing because for the longest time, mobile games have been basically free-to-play, microtransaction, ruined gacha, destroyed nonsense. And yeah, this was Apple's effort, I guess, to put a premium kind of service together where you pay a Netflix-like monthly fee. I think in Australia it's about $8 per month or something, so it's not much. And you get access to the entire library of games, which are all microtransaction free. Of no gacha and all that kind of nonsense is taken out, so you can have that premium experience. In addition, Apple Arcade is available on Apple TV, and you can actually play your games with your PlayStation 4 controller or Xbox One controller, I think. So you get the full console experience, really, and it's a pretty good deal. It's cheap. It's very cheap for what you get, and the list of games that are out there is pretty impressive already. So there's a Choo Choo Rocket, which anybody who fondly remembers the Dreamcast will remember that being one of the highlights of that console. There's a bunch of kind of tactical RPGs and stuff. I'll just pull up some of the ones I've got here on my Apple now.
There's the Mini Metro successor.
Ooh, yeah,
There is a Mini
Motorways.
Metro 6, Mini Motorways, which is really good.
Yeah.
Actually, I can't stop playing that. It ruins my battery, but I just keep charging and going again. There's a game called Dear Reader, which I love, which actually turns a whole bunch of classic literature into kind of word puzzles, which is really enjoyable. There's two games that I wanted to mention called Dread Nautical. One is Dread Nautical, which is a Zen Studios kind of roguelike tactics game, and also Overland, which is also
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one.
roguelike tactics game. They're both on there. I think Overland's like $40 on the Switch. So yeah, getting it on Apple Arcade for free is a pretty good deal. Well, free,
I feel really bad for
$7.99 a
Overland.
month.
They dropped
Um,
on the big indie week where everything released.
Yeah, it was overlooked, but it is definitely one worth looking at. It's kind of a dark kind of road trip experience where you've got to manage your resources to get from one side of the country to another under a kind of alien invasion sort of thing. And you've got to make all these really hard decisions about what resources to collect, what people to drag along with you, while all the while you're constantly under attack by these kind of alien things. So it's pretty intense, but it's really good. And then also, I wanted to mention our good friends at Devolver have 2 games on there. One I haven't actually played yet, which is like Cricket Through the Ages, which is like a funny cricket kind of riff, as in the sport, not the animal.
Yeah,
And
cricket's through the ages. It's just, in this one, your home burns down because global warming.
And the other one is called Bleak Sword, and Bleak Sword really caught me by surprise. I didn't really know that I wanted to play a 8-bit Souls-like game, but having played it, it really works. It's really quite well done and plays really nicely on the touchscreen device as well. So yeah, there's heaps on there. There's no kind of, it's not like a typical console launch where they come out with some huge kind of AAA game to really launch the library. But what Apple's actually got on there is really good quality, and there's a lot of it. And I guess going forward, we'll just have to see how they do with keeping it updated with new games and stuff. Because obviously people are not going to keep subscribing if there isn't an endless stream of new contents to play. But I've got pretty good hopes for it. I think it's off to a good start, and it's actually made me play with games on my phone again, which is better than what Mario Kart on the phone
Oh, it's so bad.
can say, because I downloaded it, and then I read the pricing models for it, and I just deleted it without actually bothering to start with it. I'm not going to play that one. But yeah,
that's genuinely evil. For those of you who don't know, it's an $8 a month subscription fee just for that game if you want to play it and have access to the best stuff. Then it's also a gacha game. So like,
apparently the subscription is irrelevant anyway. Like, in terms of
well,
like
not.
what it offers
It gives you access to the highest class, the fastest races, the 200cc. Without the subscription, you don't get access to that. So it's pretty aggressive with its monetization, and that's exactly what the Apple Arcade is there to stop, is to allow these games to exist on the Apple Store without having to be free to play and then ruined via other monetization methods. So highly recommend checking it out. It seems to be, I mean, Apple's not been very clear with how it does its payment for devs around this stuff, but it seems to be that Apple is going down the fair route. Apparently they are paying devs upfront for games to go onto the Apple Store. And while I'm not sold on the idea that beyond that payment, they get paid based on how much playtime is put into the game.
That's a little bit cursed.
It is a little bit of a concern. I mean, Google's come out and said that's exactly how they're doing it for their rival one, which is launching soonish, I believe. And it's definitely concerning, because that immediately means that if you make a game that's only 1 hour of playtime, you're not going to make much money out of it. It doesn't matter how good the game itself is. That's kind of encouraging developers to continue making games that are endless content driven rather than quality driven. But I guess if Apple's also paying up front for the games as well, there might be some kind of monetization there anyway. The devs might get rewarded for their efforts anyway. So yeah, Apple seems to be doing it the right way. Google's certainly not. Screw Google.
Really? Google being evil?
Yeah.
Wow.
That. Yeah,
What a surprise.
Google's just paying up for time played. That's it. That's purely all that they're paying.
We just all need Windows Phone to come back and everyone to have a Windows Phone, and
Need
then
a
have
Zune phone.
Xbox Game Pass on Windows Phone. That was the era. That was when things were good. Like,
No,
that was when mobile gaming was great.
Trent, we have very different opinions of what good means.
No. I had this game on my Windows Phone. It was like a game with like a squirrel, and like you collected like stuff, and it was like a platformer. It was really fun, and like,
It was the best time for games ever, but you can't remember the name of the best game that was on it.
Was it?
It was like
It's
a
like Super
decade ago.
Acorns HD or something.
Yeah, some kind of Acorn game. Yes.
Yeah, Super Acorns. I also played that. That was a pretty good game. Not gonna
Yeah.
lie. It was a pretty good game.
Yes.
But
Hey, with the Apple Arcade, do you feel like it is more of a console experience now? Like other games, do they feel like they should be on a phone, or is it branching out into more of this is a total game experience?
Well, Bleak Sword doesn't feel like it's a phone game in the sense. I mean, it's not Dark Souls. It's not of that kind of complexity in terms of how it plays. It's basically a 2-button thing, but it doesn't. I mean, it's fast, it's fluid, it's kind of an action game. It's not the kind of thing that you'd initially think you'd want to play on a touchscreen. There's another one that I haven't actually started to play yet, but it's called Stranded Sails, which looks really good. It seems
Is it a
like
Strand game?
No, it seems like it's the full. It seems like it's the full experience where you're kind of shipwrecked up on an island and you've got to survive, and you do that by
But Matt, is it a
getting
Strand
foods
game?
and stuff. No, Alan, it's
Is it
not.
by Hideo Kojima?
But yeah, it seems like it's pretty complex. And like I said earlier, you can play a lot of these games, or all of the games, or I don't know how many exactly, because I haven't had a chance to try it out. But they're all compatible with console controllers now. I think it's Apple TV plus iPhone. I don't know. I have to go home, and when I get back from Japan, I'll test that out. But yeah, you can play the full console experience with them thanks to the controllers and stuff. So certainly there is. It doesn't feel like it's those kinds of cheap little mobile games. That's for sure. It's certainly a step beyond that. And the variety of the games that are on there is pretty good already. So I think it's definitely Apple. It's definitely Apple's console play as such. Apple's not going to go and develop a video game console, but this arcade thing is how they're doing it. How they're trying to compete with what's going on with the other companies in the games industry.
Like, being realistic, if they get this right, like, they won't have to compete because they have an install base that is way bigger than a PS4. You know, like, they don't need to do anything.
Well, I mean,
outside of just making it work.
It depends how many people actually subscribe to it, because you don't have to subscribe to it if you've got an Apple iPhone.
Plus, it's only on iOS 13 so far. I feel like that would limit the install base quite a lot.
Well, I mean,
Eventually, yeah.
If you're not keeping your Apple up to date, then you're doing things wrong. But yeah, I mean, just looking through it, I've just pulled up the arcade store now. There's also a Shantae game. The new Shantae game's on there, which is obviously full quality. Sayonara Wild Hearts, which I know you love.
Oh yeah, Sayonara Wild Hearts. Everyone should go play that. It's very good.
That's on Apple Arcade.
But you need a controller though.
Rayman Mini, which is it's proper Rayman. I think it's not the touchscreen one, or is it?
I have no idea. Maybe.
Anyway,
those Rayman games are really good anyway. The Rayman runners were very, very good. Yeah.
There's Operator 41, which I think is a new release. I haven't actually chance to download it yet, but it's like a stealthy game thing, which looks really neat. There's just really good variety on there. I'm really happy with what's already on there. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what comes next for it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm looking forward to trying it out on my Apple TV as well, because I haven't played games on that thing for a long time.
You know what? That's good. Let's go to some music.
Yep, we'll get some music from Sayonara.
Yes. I'll link you the thing. It's the best song ever.
Yeah.
I'm actually
we'll use some music from that. It's a good like rhythm action game thing, isn't it?
It's like a friend described it to me as this. It's Carly Rae Jepsen, the anime, the game.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's very stylish, and it's just good vibes. Good vibes all around.
All right.
Oh, also there's a Square Enix RPG that's on there now. I didn't notice that the first time. I'm just looking through the Apple Arcade now. It's called Various Day Life, which is a weird name.
I hate that already.
Daily Life and Adventure RPG. I don't know. I'm keen on it. If it's Square Enix, I'm sure I'll find something to like about it. So
why?
Paper Monocles, Gotcha, fantastic.
We make a joke about how none of these names make any goddamn sense, and then it pulls out stuff like that just confirms the joke is a real thing.
Oh,
It's
by
not
the
funny
same-
if it's real.
It's by the same developer team, the same development team behind Bravely Default and Octopath Traveler. So, yeah, they do good stuff. Ignore Alan. He doesn't
Go
know
to
what he's
music.
talking
We're
about.
done.
Octopath Traveler music. No,
Yes.
wait.
What?
Say
yes.
Alice.
Let's do
All
that.
hearts.
I have laid my eyes on you, a glistening piece of sparkling blue. I never want, but I can't own. You'll be mine and mine alone. Your white heart glitters, your mad eyes shine. You fit so perfectly with all the golden things of mine. Won't you be my loving liar? You're the story I desire. It doesn't matter if it's fake. I love to own for owning sake. Your wild heart glitters, your mad eyes shine. It fits so perfectly with all the golden things of. Like many times a deal was made, a decent pact and honest trade. What isn't real can never fade. We prefer the masquerade. Your wild heart glitters, your eyes shine. It fits so perfectly with all the golden things of mine.
Honk.
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 Quack. I mean, what?
Trent, you ruined it. You threw off
did.
the Emperor's Groove.
I'm
Anyway.
sorry, you threw off the Emperor's Groove.
Oh no! Anyway, without recreating that amazing scene from that 2001 banger, The Emperor's Groove, we've got a honk game.
We've got a honk game.
We have a honker
Finally.
of a game.
It is a honker of a game. It's so good. It's so good.
It is a game that I'm saving. I've not played it, and I've only seen the first 10 minutes because I don't want to get spoiled on it.
Oh,
Does
damn, this is gonna be hard.
Well,
Yeah.
if you've only seen the first 10 minutes of it, you've seen about 50% of the game.
The gameplay, yeah.
Oh, come on. It's not that long. It's longer than that. I'm like only up to the first
someone did
section.
finish it in 4.5 minutes. Someone's
If you
already
know what you're
finished it.
doing, yeah, that's probably possible.
It's not a long game. It's a
It's-
very short game, but it's brief in the right way. It's delightful. It's so good. Untitled Goose Game. Actually, we didn't actually mention what game
I don't
it
think.
was.
No, we didn't need to. We didn't.
Yeah,
have
everyone
to.
knows it. It's all right.
Everyone
Yeah.
knows we're talking about the mobile spin-off games which have been coming out called Goose Game and Titled Goose Game and all that other the really weird platformer which was a weird goose
Oh,
game. That's
did
what we're
you see
talking
Is that
about.
actually happening?
Did you
Yes.
see the name? Did you see the name of the game in Japan?
No, it's called Naughty Goose.
No. It actually has a name. In
oh.
Japan. It's
Hold on,
not
I'm
called Untitled. It's not called Untitled Goose Game in Japan. It's called. It's got the most. It's got a brilliant name. Mischievous Goose is coming, and that's a.
Yeah. no, it's Here Comes the Mischievous Goose.
It's.
I love it. You know what? If that game had to have a name, that's the name I wanted.
That is
That's
the only
fantastic.
name that works.
Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right.
I remember hearing them on an interview on Triple J like a year ago, and they were saying, our game doesn't have a title, what should we call it? And they threw it out to the text line, and they decided on Loosey Goosey, which would have been a significantly worse name.
That's a
Yeah,
terrible
that's
name.
right.
No, it should
There
be
are
called
only- there-
Here Comes the Mischievous Goose. I love it.
It is really a brilliant game, and actually, the development team has been rewarded for it because the game is actually
It's selling a lot.
it's
It's like
number one
right now. Hey?
It's number one on the charts, and it actually came out at exactly the same time as a Zelda game. So to outsell a Zelda game on a Nintendo console,
They're probably all people like you, Matt, which don't appreciate the art style of the new Zelda game. That's why it's being beaten.
I gave the new Zelda game a 5 out of 5 stars. It's a good game as well, but it's no Goose Game.
It's not a honk about a mischievous
The Goose Game is just taking over the. It's taking over the entire world, and it's amazing because it's it's actually such a simple little game. Basically, you're just running messing up the place and making everybody's day really bad, and
you actually just bully people. You just bully people.
Pretty much.
It's definitely, yeah. It's got a very good sense of humor. Everyone in the town is just so done with your antics, and like they'll put up a sign that just has a goose it's crossed out. Just like, oh yeah, this will definitely stop that goose. He's gonna see that sign and be like, oh, I see, I'm not welcome here. I'm gonna go home now.
My favorite bit is walking into like the TV shop and like honking away, and all the screens turn. He's on camera, and all the screens are the goose just honking away. It's great. The honk button is it's a masterpiece of game design.
Inspired game mechanic.
Yeah.
I also love how they.
It's only games about like mallards, because Duck Game has a honk button as well, and I like it.
There's a Duck Game.
Yeah, it's called Duck Game.
Is Duck Game the one where you're?
It's a like 4-player. Yeah, it's like Towerfall. It's really good. I actually like it more than Towerfall. I heavily rate
costumes in Towerfall. That's what matters.
One. Yes.
It's a honk button.
That one. It's got a honk button. Good.
Yeah.
Every game which has goose or ducks needs a honk button.
I remember as well, a bit of a rogue reference, but there was a game called like Tic Tac Troopers or something, and it had a swear button. It was on the PS1 and it sucked, but it had a swear button and it was great for like, 7 or 8-year-old Alan.
Well, since we're talking about useless buttons in games, there was. Does anybody remember A Boy and His Blob on the Wii?
Yeah, you could pet your blob.
It was a hug button, and it did absolutely nothing. It let you hug the blob, and it was the most adorable thing. It was a wholesome game, that one. Unlike Goose Game, which is anything but wholesome. It's a very charming little game. The goose is an absolute terror, and he's nasty and very unpleasant, but he's so cute in the process that you love him anyway.
I also would like to give a shout out to the soundtrack, because it's a procedurally generated Chopin score.
Yep, it's great.
I love that. It's so clever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very clever. The game is actually really clever on every level. It doesn't really have objectives. So when we were joking about it being a short game at the start, it's kind of really as long as you want. You've got a checklist of things you can do, but it doesn't really encourage you to do them. It's mostly just about having that. It's basically like there's a toy box, and it just says, throw the toys around, mess it up as much as you can. And that's basically the game. And if you complete some of the objectives along the way, then fine. But really, I spend a lot longer in the game than its runtime as such.
Well, genuinely, the concept is engaging enough that you don't necessarily need to have really like strict objectives.
Yeah.
Like, it's just fun to be an idiot.
And you get the feeling that the developers didn't even want those objectives in there at all. They're kind of buried away, and the game doesn't do much to encourage you to keep checking back and looking at them. It's not
just
like
Hitman. I'm sure it's just Hitman.
It's not like a Ubisoft game where every step you take, it's trying to tell you to go and do 20 different things. It's mostly, it's just so it's there if you want to.
It's Hitman. It's a goose Hitman. I love it. I didn't realize that.
It's less structured. Like it's less structured than Hitman 2.
I like the structure. The structure is needed.
It doesn't need structure.
Does need structure. I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in like I didn't. So I was walking, and then I found like the wrong pass, and then I had to loop around and then go back to where I should have been. Like,
it sounds like you were bad at the game.
Well, that would take you all of 1 minute. That's the size of the game, Trent. So you don't need objectives. You just need, the goose finds a guy's pipe. He picks it up. He dumps it in a lake. That's basically.
But what if the pipe is needed for something else?
Oh, but you can just grab it out of the lake and it's fine.
Yeah, you just
there's no way to ruin your game, which is good.
Yeah, you can even dump a sandwich in the lake and it doesn't, go away. It's a bit weird like that, but it's great. It's everything I like in video games that we don't see that often, because video games are all about delivering content and violence and edgy and all that nonsense. And this game distills all of that down to just the pure play bit and does a really good job of it. So good on the Aussies for outselling Zelda. And I'm
To be
sure.
fair, it also has more content than FIFA because FIFA just crashes. So like,
Well, that's a good segue to get to your
yeah,
irritation of the week, Alan. You just got to get it off your chest, don't you?
I'm mad. I bought
You're
FIFA.
mad.
I follow a very strict rule of not buying every FIFA every year because it's dumb, and I also don't want to waste my money on a roster update that doesn't add anything. So I do a 2-year like purchase schedule, I guess. So I do FIFA, then NHL, then FIFA, then NHL, which I think makes a lot of sense. Anyway, I picked up FIFA 20 yesterday, which I was very excited for, you know, being a big old football boy. I don't know why I'm doing that voice. Yeah, I picked it up and the game crashed on me 17 times in one day. And
What
that
platform?
was PS4.
PS4. Wow.
Yeah, it's really good. And I did the big old angry tweet about it and had other people saying they had the exact same problem, which is a really good sign. It's a very, very good sign.
It'll be fixed, you know it. I mean, EA is a lot of things, but they don't leave games in broken states, so it'll be patched.
I feel like those
Shouldn't
games
be
have been
like this on
horribly
release
bad
day.
since the Frostbite engine.
No, it's been better. 17 was very, very good.
17 was
and
the
8
one that had the free World Cup update, wasn't it?
No, that was 19. That had the World
19?
Cup update. Yeah.
19 was good. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the World Cup on it.
Oh,
It was good.
this is in this one. You've now got the Champions League rather. So you get to
right,
do
yes.
that, but because they don't have the license to Juventus anymore, it's a bit strange. It's very strange to see them.
It's just a fake team in there or something.
No, it's not even a fake team. They just don't have it. And they've put on some like random 60, 65 score team. It's like, okay, this is where Juventus went. Cool. All right. It's also like a bit of BM because they put in a really bad team there. So it's like they were never going to win. How dare they? Yeah. Nah, the game's pretty fun though. I just wish that it wasn't broken.
It'll be fixed.
It better be. I'll go to someone's house and I'll shout at them because I'm a
It'll be
gamer.
fixed. It will be fixed. So chill, Alan. Chill.
Matt, I'm a gamer. You don't understand.
You're gonna
It'll
make
be fixed like how
a
SimCity
YouTube
got
about this, aren't
fixed.
you?
Yeah, we fixed like SimCity got fixed. They'll make
got
it.
fixed.
It took way too long.
Which SimCity are you talking about?
The online one.
The newest one. Didn't they eventually patch out online, but it was too little too late. Like, seriously, that game was a mess. And then by then, they already lost the crown of being best SimCity, like, city simulation crown to,
City
like,
Skylines.
City Skylines. Like, if they had, like, actually released a good game or a polished game with cities, SimCity, like 5, then they'd still be at the top. But no, they let an indie come in and take the crown. We just need that to happen with The Sims, and we'd be perfect. And then no longer have to rely on EA.
The very indie paradox.
Hmm.
That's not
Anyway,
that's
FIFA's-
not an indie team.
FIFA's dumb.
The company.
FIFA's dumb. I hate it at the moment, but I'm gonna like it.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
They've added in
It'll
FIFA
all be
Street
good.
Mode, but I can't play it because in order to play, you have to connect to the internet, which is what causes the crash. So as soon as you try and download the latest squad update, which it does automatically when you connect to the internet, it crashes the game. So I can't play Volta at all, which is the big new addition. I don't understand how it got through testing. How do you do that? How? Anyway,
Maybe it's just your PS4.
no, it's not. No, I checked that because like there is a chance that it's just me being an idiot. There's always a chance of that. There's a reasonable, about like 40% chance it's just me. However, this is the one time that I'm like, this is BS. Anyway, I realize that no one cares about it.
You should have bought the Switch version.
It's apparently the worst thing ever.
The legacy
Yeah.
editions. That's
It's
what they
apparently
call it.
terrible.
It's actually the Switch one still runs on different engines. They don't put it on the Frostbite, so it's actually
I don't think they've poured Frostbite yet.
Ugh, it's sad. Anyway, let's end it there. I'm sad. I'm gonna go play FIFA.
with some goose music.
Yeah, dun 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 dun.
Can you
Oh,
just
Do
wait,
we
anyway,
imagine the
sound
best
effects
part
for
about the
3 minutes
Goose Game?
instead?
That they have a bow tie, the bow tie in the Goose Game. Like that's the best thing about the Goose Game. Like, did we even mention that?
No, we
I
shouldn't.
don't want to say it because I don't want to ruin it for Alan, but yes, that's a good thing.
It's a bow tie.
Yep, the
Anyway.
bow tie.
We're gonna get some Goose Game music. Also, the bells are turning. Anyway.
No, I forgot my coffee. Ah.
The bells
Yeah.
are calling. I live near a belfry tower, for those who don't know.
No, he actually lives in the world of Dark Souls, and
Yeah, it's the belfry tower. I've got gargoyles.
yes.
Yeah, you
They
silly
come
goose. You silly goose.
I'm so busy playing the Goose
Da, da,
Game,
da.
I've lost everything else. I can't think of anything else now. Just Goose Game.
All right, on that note, we're gonna go to Goose Game music. Goose Game. I'm just gonna skip it like that for the rest of it. Anyway, that's the podcast. Congratulations, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Whatever. What an ending. Smooth.